Good morning. I want to welcome the elected leaders here today and say thank you on behalf of the staff at Reproductive Health Services of Planned Parenthood in the St. Louis region for championing sexual and reproductive health care and creating a safe space in our community. My name is Kawana Shannon. I'm the Director of Patient Access here at RHS, where I oversee logistical support for patients accessing abortion appointments. Whether it's arranging transportation, financial support, or scheduling time around them to be off work, the hurdles can be endless to people who need abortion access. For thousands of people who travel to St. Louis region every year for abortion care, our metro area needs to be a safe zone for reproductive health care. It's no longer just a Missouri issue or just a Missouri problem. Between our health centers in St. Louis and the Metro East, we are caring for patients coming all over the region, especially as abortion access narrows in our neighboring states. Through this resolution, we are collectively sending strong message across the Midwest and South. St. Louis rises for reproductive freedom and for reproductive justice. With that, I'm honored to introduce Pro-Choice Missouri's Maggie Olivia and Reverend Dr. Love Holt, who are here to announce critical steps our partners and elected leaders are taking to protect reproductive freedom. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Dr. Love Holt. I use she, her pronouns. I'm also a reproductive freedom organizer for Pro-Choice Missouri. Pro-Choice Missouri is formerly NARAL. Pro-Choice Missouri is the leading grassroots abortion advocacy organization in Missouri. With a 52-year history of fighting for reproductive freedom, Pro-Choice Missouri is a 501c4 nonprofit organization dedicated to building and sustaining a constituency that uses the political process to guarantee reproductive freedom for all.
Thank you, Kawana, and thank you, Dr. Love. My name is Maggie Olivia. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the policy manager at Pro-Choice Missouri. And while Dr. Love and I are here today from different walks of life with different experiences,
we share some major commonalities. We're both St. Louisans who have had abortions, and we are destigmatizing abortions by telling our stories.
extremist anti-abortion politicians tried to control us, our bodies, and our futures. And to some of an extent, they were successful. I was subjected to disinformation and biased counseling, and later was forced to cross state lines in order to receive my abortion.
I was forced to visit multiple times, and as time passed, the more expensive the procedure became before I was able to receive the service. And we both know that we're lucky that we weren't turned away from abortion services like so many other people who do not want to be pregnant.
The recent Texas abortion ban, SB 8, has made accessing abortion all but impossible for the majority of Texans, and we are already seeing those ripple effects as neighboring clinics are becoming overwhelmed with patients who need care. This is not new to Missouri, and Republicans in our state capital have pledged to do everything in their power to make those problems worse.
As a mother, I know that the power to choose is bigger than just abortion. It's really about choice, meaning the ability to choose access to proper care in pregnancy and beyond.
As we stand here today, committed to change in Missouri and beyond, we will not settle for anything less than what is rightfully ours: the freedom to tend to our own bodies, to forge our own futures, and to live in safety and dignity.
We're dedicated to the support and education, not just of our judicial leadership, but most of all to empowering the mobilization of our communities towards real freedom and reproductive justice.
Today and every day forward, we are rising with the people of St. Louis. St. Louis is rising for abortion access. St. Louis is rising for sexual and reproductive health care. St. Louis is rising for an equitable future in which every single one of us is empowered to make our own choices.
St. Louis is rising for our rights to access accurate information, freedom from coercion, St. Louis is rising for our rights to have safe and healthy pregnancy on our own terms, for our rights to parent our children in dignity and safety with the support of our families needed to thrive. St. Louis, starting now, we rise for our God-given rights. We rise for a future in St. Louis that fully supports a healthy family. Now, it is my great honor to introduce to you a steadfast reproductive freedom champion, Mayor of our city of St. Louis, Tishaura Jones. Mayor Jones has remained committed to the public service ever since her appointment as a Democratic committee woman in the 8th Ward in 2002. In the years of her service, she has served the Missouri State of House Representatives as the treasurer for the city of St. Louis, and now as the first Black female mayor. Pro-Choice Missouri was proud to endorse her mayoral campaign and remains proud to stand with her today. Please receive our Mayor Tishaura Jones.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Mayor Tishaura Jones. I use she, her pronouns. I appreciate Pro-Choice Missouri and Planned Parenthood of St. Louis, of the St. Louis region in Southwest Missouri for pulling this important event together, and for all of our allies and elected leaders here in solidarity. Right now, the fate of Roe v. Wade hangs in the balance. The trajectory of reproductive rights in our country is in the hands of a hostile Supreme Court. Dobbs versus Jackson's Women's Health Organization is a blatant attempt to overturn Roe v. Wade and roll back access to abortion and reproductive health care services. If there was ever a time to hit the alarm button and break the glass, this is it. The alarm is ringing. Do you hear it? The alarm is ringing. Do you hear it? Yes. If you hear it, what are you going to do about it? First, they come for our bodies. But what's next? I'll tell you what's next. They're coming for all of our rights. They're coming for our voting rights. They're coming for our civil rights. They're coming for our rights against Black bodies. They're coming for our rights as cities to govern ourselves. They're coming for our schools' rights to teach accurate history. They're coming for our LGBTQ plus rights. This is supposed to be a democracy. By our Constitution, we are supposed to be endowed by our Creator with unalienable rights. Unalienable means that they cannot be given away or taken away. The far right has a strategic effort to take away our rights. And I'm going to fight like hell to make sure it doesn't happen. Will you fight with me? Yes. Will you fight with me? Yes. Who are you bringing to this fight? Are you bringing your mothers and fathers, your sisters and brothers, your cousins, your aunties, your uncles, your abuelas, abuelos, tias? Who are you bringing to this fight? Last week, the St. Louis City Board of Aldermen unanimously voted to pass our declaration of our fundamental reproductive freedoms resolution, sending a clear message. I don't think you heard me, a clear message that our city supports the right of every St. Louisan to access reproductive health care, the right to a healthy pregnancy, and the right to raise our children, our babies, in thriving environments. Again, this isn't just about abortion. This is about all of our rights. This is about all of our rights. Will you fight with me? Yes. Will you fight with me? Yes. Next, I'd like to pass the mic to the incomparable Councilwoman Rita Days. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, and I'm very pleased to be here. We're standing out here in the freezing cold to let you know that what is going on now is totally unacceptable. And we will stand in the cold, in the rain, in the sleet, and the snow to make sure that the voices of the St. Louis region are heard. This is unacceptable. We are now looking at 69% of the electorate says, leave Roe alone. And so what are we doing? We're taking the unprecedented step to try to overturn something that has been in place for years and years. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that this is not simply about abortion, as the mayor has just said. Abortions have been around a long, long time. And what you are doing and what the Supreme Court is trying to do is to deny people who cannot afford the kinds of procedures. It's not about rich people. Rich people have done this, have been doing this, and will continue to do this regardless of Roe v. Wade. So I think we need to be clear about what the direction is. You are trying to deny poor people, people of meager means, the opportunity to access good health care, good reproductive health care. The St. Louis County Council this evening will be sponsoring a resolution to stand with everyone here, all my colleagues and friends here, to say this is not acceptable and we will not take this lying down. So I have the co-sponsorship of the other 3 women on this council. We probably won't have the men, but we do have the 3 women, and we will make sure that this is passed this weekend, as this today. And so the last thing I want to say is, while we expound all the freedoms that we have, this is basic and fundamental. We cannot sit back and allow this to happen without the fight of their lives. The mayor said hell. I was just going to say Hades, but it's cold out here. It is cold out here, and we are going to fight like hell to make sure. Woo, that's hard. So we are going to fight to make sure that this does not happen. You talk about what your freedoms are. This is my body. You and anybody else don't have the right to tell me what I can do with my body. My body, my choice. Thank you.
Cora Faith Walker earned her Master's of Public Health at the Brown School for Social Work. Her Juris Doctorate in Health Law certificate from the St. Louis University School of Law. She's previously served as state representative from District 74 in North St. Louis County, and today utilizes her expertise in health law and policy to influence the policy priorities of the county executive's office as Chief Policy Officer for Executive Sam Page. Please receive Cora Faith Walker.
Good morning, and thank you, Dr. Love. As was just stated, my name is Cora Faith Walker, and I'm honored to be here this morning on behalf of St. Louis County Executive Dr. Sam Page, and to echo the support of Chairwoman Rita Days on behalf of the County Executive. Reproductive freedom and reproductive justice are at the heart of our values in St. Louis County, and that includes access, equitable access to safe and legal abortion. As we just heard the Councilwoman state, the overwhelming majority, 7 in 10 people in St. Louis County and throughout this country, believe that it's no politician's business about how and when to grow their family, that decision should be left up to the individual and their medical professionals. However, in St. Louis County, we are no strangers to vocal minorities. The scary thing, though, that we saw last week with the Dobbs case and the oral arguments was some of these Trump-appointed justices saying the quiet part out loud. Whether or not it was the newest appointed justice, somehow suggesting that adoption is some sort of reasonable alternative to forced pregnancy, ignoring completely issues of maternal mortality and infant mortality. Whether or not it was Danforth's own protege, Clarence Thomas. Let's not forget, Danforth's also responsible for our own Senator, January 6th, fist raising Josh Hawley. But I digress. Whether or not it was Clarence Thomas suggesting that women should somehow be criminalized. We know that whatever happens with that Dobbs case, whether or not Roe is overturned outright, whether or not the Mississippi case is just upheld, Missouri is hostile to reproductive freedom and reproductive choice and is going to not just stop at outlawing abortion, they're going to try to criminalize being a woman. So that's why it is more important than ever, and I am honored to be here this morning with the mayor and with the chairwoman, because we have to not only do what we can to fight against these anti-choice extremists, we have to be sure that we enshrine and affirm what are our basic and most fundamental rights in this country, to liberty and justice. And so I am honored to be here this morning to support the councilwoman and all of the councilwomen who are also mothers, by the way, not just women, but mothers, in affirming the reproductive freedoms and choice that is so important in St. Louis County. And I thank you all for being here this morning. Thanks.
Thank you again so much, Cora Faith Walker, for you and your office's support today. Up next, we will have Alderman Bill Stevens. Bill Stevens is a freshman member of the St. Louis City Board of Aldermen, proudly serving the people of the 12th Ward. He's a longtime public servant who came to the BOA from the St. Louis Public Libraries as a youth services provider and currently serves as the archivist for Pride St. Louis. Pro-Choice Missouri is thrilled at his leadership in sponsoring Board Resolution Number 141, the Declaration of Our Fundamental Reproductive Freedoms, and thrilled to have him here with us today. I welcome Alderman Bill Stevens.
Thank you, Maggie, and thank you everyone for being here today. I'm Alderman Bill Stevens of the mighty 12th Ward of the City of St. Louis, and it was indeed my honor to sponsor the Declaration of Our Fundamental Reproductive Freedoms, Rights, and Justice Resolution Number 141, which did pass last week from the Board of Aldermen unanimously. This resolution was drafted to reflect the people of the City of St. Louis and their demands that were named in Pro-Choice Missouri's Reproductive Freedom Bill of Rights. It belabors the point to say that I stand here in front of you all today standing for reproductive justice, freedom, and equity. But what a lot of people don't realize is that for this resolution, I sat and I listened. I sat and I listened to women who are intimately aware of what it means when politicians say they don't get to make decisions about their bodies. I sat and I listened to my community who said, Alderman, Bill, neighbor, we do care about our fundamental choice to make our own private medical decisions. So indeed, I do rise before you today, having sat to listen to those most intimately affected when we make decisions at every level of government. As the home of the last standing abortion provider for the state of Missouri, St. Louis is the last line of defense for both our constituents and our neighbors across the state. We know that legality, that access, is but the bare minimum, and that what ultimately matters, the ultimate goal, is continued unfettered access. St. Louis City government is sending a very clear message to not only our city, not only to our state, but to our federal government, that we support the fundamental right of every St. Louis resident, of every Missouri resident, to access the reproductive health care needs, including but not exclusive to abortion care, the right to a healthy pregnancy, the right to raise children in safe, thriving, supported, educational, unfettered environments. I urge other local and municipal leaders across the St. Louis City region and across our state of Missouri to take similar steps to send a strong and necessary message to members of their own communities that they will fight to protect their constituents' most fundamental reproductive freedoms. And I ask that not as Alderman Stevens of the 12th Ward of the City of St. Louis, but as Bill. I ask that as a neighbor. I ask that as a young constituent of this state, as a citizen who believes that everyone has the fundamental right to these freedoms. I ask that as a brother, as a son, as a partner to a beautiful man. I ask that as a citizen of the United States. Please, stop holding us back. I know I'm not stopping here, and I know that St. Louis is not stopping here either. Together with the Office of the Mayor, with my colleagues at the Board of Aldermen, and with my colleagues across the city-county border, we are forging a path towards a city and a region where sexual and reproductive health care, including abortion, but not exclusive to only abortion, is available and accessible to everybody, regardless of their zip code, regardless of their identity, and most definitely regardless of their income. St. Louis and myself rise for reproductive freedom, and I again thank everyone for being here today and for supporting our fundamental reproductive rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Stevens. We would like to again extend our deep gratitude to all of our speakers today, the City of St. Louis Mayor Tishaura Jones, St. Louis County Council Chairwoman Rita Days, St. Louis County's Chief Policy Officer Cora Faith Walker, 12th Ward Alderman Bill Stevens, and of course Kawana Shannon, the Director of Patient Access for Reproductive Health Services of Planned Parenthood of the St. Louis region and Southwest Missouri.
Also, to our elected leaders who joined us today, Alders Annie Rice, James Page, Ann Schweitzer, Megan Green, Tina Sweet Tea, Christine Ingracia, and Dan Gunther, County Councilwoman Lisa Clancy, State Representatives LaDonna Applebaum, and Barbara Pfeiffer.
As well as our coalition partners who made it out this very cold December morning to rise with us. Of course, Planned Parenthood of the St. Louis region, the Hope Clinic out of Granite City, Action St. Louis, Generate Health St. Louis, Promo, Moho Justice, Faith Aloud, SEIU HCII, Missouri Family Health Council, and Show Me 15.
We want to also thank all of you for participating and being here suffering through the cold. In favor of this business being open in a few seconds, we'll be asking everyone to clear the lot by 10:30. And if anyone will have any in-depth interviews or questions, you can meet us right around the corner at Northwest Coffee. Thank you so much.
Thank you.